you taken to another planet, to a mothership? How did they communicate with... Can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how many of them there were? Were you given food?
But the teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family amongst lords of consciousness. I'm the void.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting from New York, upstate near the Great Lakes, it's Lighting the Void, and I'm your host, Joe Roop. Welcome back to the broadcast. We're live on KTOK, digital broadcasting, the Fringe FM. Better yet, Fringe.fm. So I'm going to keep reminding you guys of that. The new website is Fringe.fm. Not The Fringe. The Fringe is the service site where you can get your podcast services done by our crew here. Also, if you want to support this broadcast, go to lightingthevoid.com and click on the Patreon banner, the donate button. I want to thank William for grabbing an altar box. I think that makes 8 altar boxes. I'm not sure. 8, 7, 8, something like that. So, and when you get those, because the last 3 altar boxes that we sold, when you get those, I want pictures. Please send me pictures. I want to see how yours is different than mine. All right. And you can also make a one-time donation or grab some swag. I got to talk to a really cool guy today on the phone named Matt, because one of our orders got lost and I found it. So I called him, and he was a charter boat captain down there in Florida, and had a pretty cool discussion with him. I think it's pretty cool to speak to the listeners every now and then, because you get to hear their stories, hear what they've been through. It's really kind of wild, actually, because I thought most of people, I get these ideas of like who's listening to the broadcast sometimes, and you never know. You never know who's listening, right? You never know who's going to show up. Some people are Christians, some people are atheists, some people are pagans. Some people have had crazy experiences. Somebody had no experiences. I'm just really shocked at, I guess you could say, the dynamic of the audience, really, because everybody I talk to is really cool, by the way. Really cool. Tonight, we're going to be speaking with Matt Landman, who will be contacting at the first break. He's supposed to show up today from actualactivist.com. I'm sure you've heard of Matt Landman. And I know we don't do a lot of shows like this at Lighting the Void, but what Matt Landman's actually done kind of changed a lot of stuff. So, I mean, pretty much what he talks about is the real deal. As far as, I mean, you can't even call it conspiracy, what he's talking about. And he's always been doing good work. He's keeping the fight going. So we got to help him, you know? But the cool thing is when we get in these areas of downtime like this, we get to talk about solutions. Like when Charlie Robinson was on the broadcast, that's the best thing to do, is talk about solutions, right? So are we ready to talk about some active solutions in response to these environmental manipulative things that have been happening to us? So, and how does it affect our body? How does it affect the external environment, our mind, our spirit? And I guess the biggest question about all of this is, why do you and I, like, we don't have a say? It seems like, anyways, that we don't have a say what goes on in our own skies. We don't have a say-so in that. I wonder why that is. So we need to really look at that, right? Pretty interesting fact, in 2020, during COVID, the planet Earth was quieter than it's ever been. I know we've talked about this before when we get outside, and it's the quietest thing I've ever experienced at night was during the snow. Like after a hard snow, and then the snow settles and you go outside at night, it's like eerily quiet. But the earth itself in history was the quietest it's ever been. And this is from Reuters, right? Earth had its quietest period in decades during 2020 as the COVID-19 pandemic significantly reduced human activity and its impact on the planet's crust. And according to scientists, that's the truth, right? We don't really know, but that's what they're saying. But this was studied by a group of seismologists from 33 countries, and they measured a drop of up to 50% in so-called ambient noise, which is generated by humans just traveling in factories and all the humming of the earth and everything. So according to the studies, the lockdown has made, I don't know how cool this is, but it is kind of eerie if you think about it, kind of Twilight Zone-y. According to these studies, the Earth in 2020 was the quietest it's ever been. That's really weird to me. You know, I don't know why, but that's creepy to me. You ever notice how, like, when things get super quiet, it gets creepy? It's kind of calming and peaceful at first, but after a while, it does something to your brain, right? Like, why is it so quiet? You know, I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but when you're out up here in the upstate New York where it's just snowing all the time, and I don't know if you've ever been to upstate New York, but it's pretty much like snow and farmland. There's just as many rednecks up here as there is in Arkansas, I got to tell you. Just as many. But it's really quiet up here. It's kind of boring, actually. So, anyways, I can't really tell you anything interesting going on other than NASA is still looking for life on Mars. And what else is new there? They're searching for, actually what they're doing is they're searching for past life stuff on Mars, which, what's the difference, right? They landed, the rover landed, I think it was this Thursday, to begin an ambitious mission to search for signs of past Martian life. So they're actually going to search for aliens, if you want to look at it that way, and obtain samples of soil and rock that could someday be hauled back to Earth for study in laboratories. But they did confirm the touchdown of this thing, so we'll see, right? Everybody, it was like a big deal to NASA. And that is if you believe NASA is real. I got to tell you something. As I look at all over this information, it's something that I'm really tired of looking at is the death toll. The death toll in the United States is up to 500,000. Okay. Well, I don't even want to go into the stats of that, but I'm pretty sure that's just to scare you. But do you guys really believe that we're in like this nuclear winter thing? I don't know. I just woke up today and I had this weird vibe. And I didn't really do anything. I went outside, I went to the store, I came back in, and that was it. But I got the creepiest vibe today for some reason. Just kind of one of those weird, chilly feelings. Like something's coming. It could just be my own paranoia, you know? But we just, our connections to humans, we just lost it. I literally feel like we've lost it. Did you know that here's a weird statistic about that? Seriously. You're probably not going to believe this, but most dog owners, and it's getting to the number here where most dog owners say they'd rather kiss their dogs than their partners. Did you know that? Like more, and according to statistics, and this is all surveys, so it's not really the truth, like more people have been kissed by dogs than they have real people this past year. Do we love dogs more than people? I mean, I love dogs. The bond with the pet is good and all, but maybe it's more important. I don't know. I'm a statistic guy, so there is like statistics on this. For some reason, people's bond with their pet, I guess, could be more important in the relationship in the household. But out of the people that responded to this survey, and these were those that were married or in a relationship, 79% of them, over half, admit to kissing their dog more than their partner. Now, this survey was done by this organization called Just for Dogs, or Just Food for Dogs. And it was done by one poll. It says 3 in 5, or 61%, admit they prefer their dog to some people they know. And 47% confess to knowing the names of the dogs in their neighborhood, but not their owners. And the same number add they have been even canceled plans in the past just to stay in with their dog. Now, all this quality time with your pet had some respondents saying that they have been accused of spoiling their dog, but even 70% of those people said that they don't care. What is going on, man? Like, human interaction is going away. I mean, I love dogs too, but I mean, you guys know how ridiculous it is when you get on YouTube and you watch these videos of dogs and cats. They got billions of views. Like, whoever's putting these things out, or they're getting mass amounts of money for it. Americans give dog the royal treatment. 49% of people let them sleep in bed with them. 46% allow them on the couch. Remember, my grandmother hated that when a dog got on the couch. She'd get on the couch and she'd just do this weird, get off my couch, weird scream, like it really pissed her off. But anyways, 46% of people make them their own dinner with human food. Then there's lap dogs. That's 44%. Here's the weird one, right? 35% of people let them into the bathroom while the owner uses toilets or showers. Look, please don't get mad at me about saying this. I'm just trying to prove a point that we've lost our connection with the human race, and we have replaced it with dogs and cats. And in this community, that's what you hear people say. Get a dog, get a cat. Hey, man, I miss Leo. I love cats too. I love dogs. But I don't think they should replace human connection. I think it should be an additive to human connection. Now, if you're lonely or whatever and you don't have anybody, then I understand. But if you do, or you're in like a loving relationship, then that's just weird to me. Why would you kiss your dog more than your partner? There's no love in the world. Everybody's angry, including me. I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. So, last night I go to sleep and I had another false awakening. And this one was really weird. I didn't sleep. I slept on the couch, not my bed. For some reason, I've been sleeping on the couch a lot lately. I don't know why. Like when I get sad, I'll sleep on the couch. It's weird. But I got up this time from the couch. And this time I was just going to go into my room and I couldn't flip the light on. And I didn't realize it was a dream. I thought the light was out. And I was going to go into the bathroom. And then I realized I was in a dream because I couldn't see. God, it's so freaky. Even talking about it, I couldn't see my reflection. I mean, I looked in the mirror and I couldn't see my reflection. I was like, okay, that wigs me out, right? So I tried to wake up. And have you ever done that? Like when you realize you're asleep and you try to wake up and you can feel like your eyes like twitching back and forth. And it's so hard, isn't it? Because you're in such a deep state of sleep. You're just sitting there going, like my eyes, I could feel them. And then I thought I woke up. Nope. Same thing. On the couch, get up, go to the bathroom, go back into the, go into the room. Light doesn't work. Go back into the bathroom. Can't see my reflection. That has to be in my head from the Lost Boys or something, why that's happening in my dream. But I couldn't see it. I couldn't see my reflection. I did that about 3 or 4 times, and this always happens to me when I get into one of these things, and they're very rare. I thought, for a second, I'm dead. Like I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I mean, I know I want to get out of, upstate New York, but now I'm like really trapped. Like I'm trapped up here in some type of weird death cycle, and I started to panic a little bit. And I don't remember how I woke up, but I really don't. But I do remember being stuck in it. And the last time that happened to me, I started having weird experiences afterwards. So I might have some pretty cool stories to tell you before this is all over with, actually. Apparently, Texas is in a bad state, right? So we got all this stuff happening with this energy crisis. I don't know. But isn't it, I wonder if it has something to do with the vibration. Because you hear a lot of people talk about how everything is a frequency. Well, there's some kind of weird, dull kind of frequency going on right now. Unless you live in a sunshine state with palm trees and, you got the wind blowing and everything's peachy for you. But for the rest of us, I don't know if you feel it, but I do. It's just some type of weird, low vibration that needs to go away. And I don't know, we're going to talk about health too, but I got to tell you, irregular sleep will screw with your health. I've been so freaking agitated lately. So if you're not getting plenty of sleep, I'm not trying to tell you how to live, but this causes depression. Like irregular sleep schedules, it increases your depression. It increases all of the bad stuff. Even when it comes to just people's mood the next day, people who, they wake up at various times of the day, they find themselves in like bad moods all the time, agitated. I've got to the point where I'm old enough now. I used to, like, if I couldn't sleep, I'd just get insomnia and walk around in this like zombie thing. Not anymore. Like I'm old enough now. I feel like if I can't sleep, I'm going to take something to knock myself out. I don't know. There's so much, what it is, I think too, is every day I have to get on the internet, you guys, and like try to find something to talk about other than what I talk about with a guest. And there is not, you guys got to send me some cool places to go on the internet, because most of the same places that you go to on the internet, it's all about like the worst stuff ever, man. Forced vaccinations. What? There's people out that's okay. This is going on. And then we'll go into our break here. And tell me if you blame these people, though. Now, this is over in Israel, where they're reopening all the gyms and hotels and other venues and stuff. But they have these certificates. I guess it's like a graphics program. It's like a pass. If you've been vaccinated, you can do certain things. It's called a green pass. It uses a QR code to store your inoculation status and personal information. Imagine that. Wait till we have to use one of those, right? But there's people that are faking them. I wonder what side of the fence you're on. I'm curious on that. Because I got to tell you, like, if people were forced inoculation on me, I would probably get one of those fake passes if I didn't, like, run into the woods. But they're using these graphics. It's like a graphics program, and it changes the text on the pass. But the QR code is what looks scary and hard to forge, right? But actually, it's pretty easy. There's this guy in Israel named Ron Bar-Zeek, an expert on cybersecurity, and he put this on Facebook. He said that the QR code on the health ministry, which is called Green Pass, has no encryption and corresponds directly to a string of text with the holder's personal information, including name, ID number, and date of vaccination, identical to the text printed on the pass itself. And whoever scans the false pass will see the exact same details that are printed on the pass, and there are already tens of thousands of people forging these things. Have you guys seen what these passes look like? They look like airport tickets. It's like a vaccination certification with a QR code on it. And you can buy these certificates if you live in Israel on the black market. Ooh, I can't wait, right? Can you guys wait until we have to carry those around? I thought 2021 was going to be easier. It's not getting easier yet. Anyways, we're going to take a break. Matt Landman's coming on the program. We're going to get updates on what he's been up to lately, what's going on with him, what we should be looking forward to when it comes to protecting ourselves and staying aware. I'm Joe Roop. This is Lighting the Void. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, Fringe FM listeners, did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me? Hold on, let me turn this down.
AncientLifeOil.com.
It's going.
Stressed?
Sorry, I had that thing
who isn't? Anxiety
blasting in your ear.
No, not that. Is sleep hard?
How you been, man?
Because your brain
been fighting a good fight.
Slow down.
Still doing your thing, huh?
Crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath.
I'm all right.
Exhale and go. No,
dude, I'm in upstate New York now.
CBD, broad and full spectrum.
Yeah, I was in Little Rock.
CBD for you to enjoy.
I moved upstate New York for some reason. I guess for the
brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries. Be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
Want to know what's on the Fringe FM? Check out our schedule at thefringe.fm.
Hola, Fringe listeners. This is Dave Cruz of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to The Fringe FM.
This is Malorcas45, fan of The Fringe FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision or your third eye vision.
My name is Jake. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I am a void walker.
Hey, Joe Roop. Thanks for lighting the void. This is Janine in the bluegrass of Kentucky, and I am a void walker.
What's up, guys? This is Damien from San Marcos, Texas, and I'm a void walker. I listen to the show to keep myself aligned with the world.
Hi, this is Laura, aka Laura Lavender. I'm from Las Vegas, and I listen to Lighting the Void because it helps me understand some of the strangest experiences I've had. So thanks for all that you do and for always being there for us, Joe.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
Born out of the alchemical tradition of Paracelsus is a medical tradition called Spagyria. Though not many people practice this work today, Phoenix Aurelius has been researching and teaching this work for the last 15 years, and he needs your support.
Hi, I'm Phoenix Aurelius, and I'm the founder of the Phoenix Aurelius Research Society, where I perform modern scientific research on the methods and techniques of Paracelsian alchemy and Spagyria for health, wellness, agriculture, ecology, and more. All my work is 100% funded by the public, so if you like what I'm doing and you want to support my research, please consider making a purchase of spagyric medicines from my apothecary, fund your own spagyric IDF wellness research, or participate in my group study or one-on-one immersion courses so that you can learn how to perform this work for yourself. I want to thank you in advance for your support.
Visit thefringe.fm/alchemy research and enter coupon code FRINGE and receive 15% off anything and everything on the website. That's thefringe.fm/alchemy research. And thank you for doing your part and keeping alchemy alive in the modern day.
Alrighty, welcome back to Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop. Our guest, Matt Landman, is here with us. We're going to get going on this. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard of Matt, but if you haven't, Matt Landman is an activist and a filmmaker, and he has gained recognition as the leader in 5G and geoengineering chemtrail awareness. And he presents unprecedented and view-changing information directly from official documentation and accepted research, and created the social change documentary Frankenskies, which is one of the biggest things he was known for in the beginning of his work, bringing awareness to ongoing atmospheric aerosol injections, chemtrails, weather modification programs, and geoengineering. But in addition, Matt continues to contest varied telecom networks with efforts to help citizens locally fight the rollout of the dangerous and disputed 5G data network in their communities. But he is also leading a movement to protect humanity from harmful electromagnetic frequencies with this project, EMF-shielded or SPERO Protection Clothing. You can go to SPEROProtectionClothing.com, FrankenskiesTheMovie.com, and ActualActivist.com as well. Welcome back, Matt. Matt. It's good to have you. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Of course, Joe. Thank you so much. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah, man. What have you been up to lately, man? What's been going on with you as of late?
Oh, wow. It seems like time is kind of frozen. So much has happened even in the past year. So 1 year ago, on February 22nd, 2020, I was blessed to be offered a speaking position, I was the keynote speaker at this conference. And so I spoke, and a bunch of other doctors and all these other people spoke. I think, honestly, the reason why I got the keynote speaker role is they couldn't find any men speakers. It was all like women doctors. It was primarily women, and they had to balance it out by giving me the main speaking thing. It was called Live Aware, this like annual conference in San Francisco. And little did we know, come March, like a few weeks later, we wouldn't be able to gather in California ever again, it seems.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So I was able to get that taken care of and then roll out this. I've been plugging along with every single day. It's working on SPERO, SPERO. It's a Latin word. It means hope in Latin. And I wanted to bring hope to the next generation by offering, the kids some silver. It's the EMF protection comes from the silver lining in the clothing and different garments and whatnot. So I wanted to get the kids protected, but even with men's underwear and pregnancy stuff and hoodies and whatnot, I'm making this EMF protective clothing, and I'm kind of leading the industry in North America. So I'm really happy about that. There's a handful of companies, but I'm the only one that's really doing it right as far as I'm concerned. So I've got these little foam bags. So this tangent's pretty cool and important. So I've got these little foam bags, and they're the silver material, and it's called a Faraday bag. You put your phone in it, and your phone just stops working. You can't get calls or texts, and now people are excited because you can't get COVID tracing if you're around someone who gets COVID or whatever. They can't trace you because there's apps are on your smartphone now, or they're like installed, this tracing software. Even if the battery's out of your phone, they're still tracking you evidently. So it was really interesting because I came out with the company a couple years ago, and I had these single layer. I didn't even call them single layer at the time. I just made these foam bags, and they worked everywhere. You put your phone in the bag, and it doesn't have any signal. It's like you're going into the mountains, Right. And then you pull your phone out of the bag, and you get all these text messages, and it's working again. So people like it when they're going to bed or like on a date or something like that to protect from EMF radiation. Well, all of a sudden, last spring and summer, people were contacting me, unhappy customers, because their phone bags stopped working. Like they had owned the bag for a while, and suddenly nothing had changed except for the phone bag stopped working. All of a sudden, the phone is ringing inside the bag and getting text messages inside the bag. And I couldn't figure it out. I thought, was my manufacturer somehow like sending me faulty stuff or whatever? And I was going through all these different hypotheses, and I got all these returns, and I started making double layer bags and sending them double layer bags. Double layer bags actually worked. But what was funny is when I was getting the single layer bags returned, they worked just fine for me in California, right? But these people were returning them in Northern California, but people were returning them from LA and certain places where, come to find out, 5G was getting rolled out as well. So their phones, especially Verizon phones and especially iPhones, were getting bumped up onto a higher bandwidth where they could receive and give and transmit more data, which meant more radiation, which meant they were actually penetrating the bags. So I thought that was really curious, but I spearheaded the problem with the solution of just having 2 layers of bags of silver fabric. So the bags are now double layered, and crisis averted. It's all good. Well, I started thinking about it, and then my buddy from back home, because I was telling you right before we started the show, I grew up right outside of D.C. My buddy from D.C., he hit me up, and he was like, yeah, Matt, I follow you on Facebook, but I don't really agree with all of the stuff that you say. I'm like, yeah, what else is new? Nobody that I grew up with agrees with me. That's, pretty much common knowledge. But guess what? A lot of people are waking up to chemtrails just from watching the movie Frankenskies. Like, there's so much in-your-face information, the truth there in that movie. It starts off in the 1920s, And when it goes through the chronological timeline of how the government creates weather modification and sharpens their tools, by the time the movie gets to the 40s and 1950s and 60s, it's self-evident that the weather is controlled and it's jaw-dropping.
It's not a conspiracy. I don't even consider it a conspiracy. It's a fact, Yeah,
it's a fact. So people from my childhood who are still in my life because they're nice and cool people, at least, one of them is my old college roommate, and he hit me up and was like, guess what? I want to let you know that I got COVID. So COVID is real and all this, because I've disputed that and what have you, and brought some attention to some of the BS surrounding all that. And he wanted to explain to me his situation. And I was like, I'm all ears, bro. I have no idea what's going on, and I'd love to hear your story. And come to find out, he says that he didn't have any symptoms like the cold or any sort of like flu-like symptoms. He had no fever, And he didn't like throw up or anything like that. Like, it was very odd symptoms, but what he did have is this weird brain fog, and he lost the sense of taste. And his wife, same exact symptoms. Well, I inquired a little bit and come to find out at the same time they had just switched to the new iPhone. And these symptoms that these people are saying that are weird, that don't have anything to do with getting a virus or whatever, like all of a sudden losing your taste buds, your sense of taste. These are radiation sickness symptoms, Joe. I can't believe it. So I'm literally on the cusp of this theory. Like, I'm not going to say 100% yet because I'd like to get as much data as I can before really like going there. But I really think that a lot of this COVID nonsense is a smokescreen for this crank up in radiation coming out of people's phones as they hop onto this new bandwidth, as 5G is deployed and all this infrastructure is rolled out for this whole new 5G technology, which is nothing like 4G or 3G. This is going to be enough data streaming around that we can have self-driving cars and drones and all this weird stuff that we could never have before if we didn't have some really, really crazy infrastructure and put in.
Whoa, yeah, that's pretty trippy. Yeah, and I kind of wonder. I kind of wonder about that too, because some of the doctors that have come on and talked about it. Well, you had some doctors come on a long time ago, and they were talking about that too, like people that got it. It was almost like when you get altitude sickness or something where you can't breathe like that. But they say it keeps morphing and changing. That would make sense though, honestly. But when you look at what 5G, I guess what it is, the frequencies of it or whatever, the radiation that does what it does to oxygen cells or the molecules themselves, that's kind of what we were looking at before. But then the mainstream media came out and said, well, all the tinfoil hatters, they're out there saying that 5G is COVID. And no one was saying that for a fact. People were just saying what 5G actually does. And I forget if it was what molecule it was. I forget even what I read about it, but I know that it could affect your breathing, but I didn't know about the taste and stuff and the radiation poisoning symptoms. Like, what do you know? What other symptoms are of like radiation poisoning? Because I don't know that.
Well, the confusion and brain fog is one of them. But what's really interesting about how they played it is they said that the conspiracy theorists were saying that 5G was having people drop dead, and they were saying that it was like 5G is out in the air and everybody's being impacted by it. But it wasn't that. Every phone is different. It's a different carrier. Every phone is blasting a different signal. And it was just certain phones on certain carriers or certain bandwidth being literally plugged onto a new network one at a time. So that's why a certain household might get it because they might have all the same phones or whatever. And then back to the oxygen thing, I actually was researching that as well, and come to find out these respirators that people were getting thrown on at the very beginning, and the hospitals were being incentivized. I forget all the numbers, but hospitals were getting paid for every COVID case that they had, and every person they got put on a respirator, they got another 18 grand or whatever it was. But these respirators, they were not giving people enough oxygen. And so when the people were coming into the morgue, and it looked like they had altitude sicknesses because they didn't get enough oxygen when they were on the respirator. So they were slowly being killed by these respirators, come to find out, is what I ended up discovering on that one. But yeah, that COVID game is completely confusion tactics, and it's really getting crazy with the double masks and all that sort of stuff. Did you hear about how the one-time use medical masks, these one-time use, like usually they're blue, but they can be white, these medical masks.
Yeah.
They are lined with fluoride, come to find out. Literal fluoride. It's a layer of Teflon, which is synthetic fluoride. And what it is they call it polytetrafluoroethylene, PTFE. And you can just Google PTFE mask, and it'll show you these blue masks that they hand you as you're walking into the grocery store. And these are one-time use medical masks for when someone's in surgery. No one should be wearing these walking around doing anything in public. It has nothing to do with any sort of virus. But when you start to connect the dots and you realize that fluoride is toxic, and then they're getting all this aluminum in us through spraying it in the sky with the chemtrail, geoengineering agenda, or putting it in the flu shot, COVID shot, or whatever shot they have. It's always got a lot of aluminum in it, or in the food or whatever, deodorant and whatnot. But we're getting aluminum in our diet, and then now we're huffing. Not everyone, but the people that are not in the know literally are huffing fluoride through these medical masks, and they're getting it in their toothpaste, their drinking water, and those two, fluoride and aluminum, they literally come from the same place. When you make aluminum, a toxic byproduct of the aluminum production in the smelting process is fluoride. So those two like to bond back together. And they bond back together literally in your brain. Fluoride passes the blood-brain barrier. It escorts aluminum past the blood-brain barrier. And there's these little chemical reactions of them bonding together, these little explosions in your brain. That's why people are coming with these high rates of Alzheimer's and dementia, and it's getting linked right back to that aluminum. Yeah. So it's a toxic combination. It's important for people to understand what's going on.
So man, do you feel like that there is actually any, I guess we could start here because I want to start here. I talked to Charlie Robinson about this too. We need a more of an attitude of solutions about this. We need more people like you that are out actually trying to find solutions. I mean, the SPERO clothing is cool, but I think that's really cool actually, because we may in the future be in a situation where, like, if we don't have stuff like that, we're probably going to lose our lives, or our lives are going to be much shorter. But are we ready, do you think, as a society to start really talking about active solutions? I mean, sometimes I wonder when I think about you, when your name comes up, is like, this guy has been in the fight since the beginning, right? Like, it's got to be getting discouraging at some point because people, I don't know how the activist community is. Like, I ask you when you come on, is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Does it feel like people are doing enough? Or does it just feel like we're giving up?
Well, it's a big question. Right now, people's hands are tied. It's a completely different world right now. We can't even go into city hall meetings in a lot of these places. You said you're in upstate New York. I'm sure New York is just in a similar lockdown as I'm now in Oregon, which is very similar to California, which is basically the same as Washington. So the whole West Coast is on the same page. And I know a lot of the East Coast, I mean, the entire world is under crazy, weird dystopia. They said 2 weeks and we're going into a 1-year anniversary. So activism in and of itself, everything, live music, I mean, just about anything you can talk about has been kind of stifled. I mean, sports, everything. So I can't really go out to a farmer's market and hand someone a flyer like I used to be able to, but people have to adapt, you know, and we're adapting in our own way. Thank God we do have these platforms still, and I can do a show with you, and, you know, God bless you for your work, but it is a daunting task, and I am blessed. I was going to say I'm blessed with a brain, but I've actually thought this through and was able to come up with a way to actually make a little money, because if I was just doing what I was doing a couple of years ago in this COVID world, I'd be screwed, bro. Like, it'd be over. It'd be done. My life would be over. So I'm very lucky that I created an online business and that I'm actually selling this stuff. And every time I sell someone a phone pouch, I'm actually getting a little tool of activism in their pocket that they can show people and bring some awareness to the, you know, what EMF radiation even is, because it's invisible. No one even understands it. The understanding is so low, just like in the space of medicine or health or GMO or fluoride vaccines. I mean, chemtrails, anything. The importance is that we need to raise the vibration of the knowledge so that people can be empowered with it, because nobody's empowered with disinformation and lies. They get confused, and no one can do anything out of confusion. But as far as activism goes, I don't think very many people are really stepping up, trying to become an activist. They don't see the rewards. Nobody can really understand how amazing and beneficial it is to, like, feel like you're doing something for humanity. Everyone focuses on the fear aspect or the negative side, or, oh, what about my mom, or what about my peers, or what is someone else going to think, or, you know, and everything like that is, it starts off an uphill battle when you're going against the grain, but eventually things start to flow. You chip away, and then there's an avalanche, because eventually the truth actually speaks for itself. We live in a polarized world. We live in a realm of duality. There's left, right, up, down, black, white. And right now, we're just flooded with lies and deception. So the truth has to have its backlash, its time, its balancing act. And for us that do honor the truth with integrity, it's so important to keep plugging away and doing our thing and being the change that we want to see, because we're here right now in this new world right now. We're on the precipice of change. And either we let I don't want to say the New World Order, because that's the old way, man. Their old world of Saturn or whatever their, negative influences are, their old way is on the way out. They want to call it the New World Order. Our new world is on the horizon, right? But it's up for us to literally create it now that we have this fresh slate. Like, they're giving us the fresh slate. We can start anew with all of these lies on the table, or we can cower in fear and let them keep pushing this dystopia down the line until 2030, when they have like literal self-driving cars and drone delivery, and we're probably not allowed to really even make eye contact, because if you watch these dystopian weird movies, man, I'm telling you, you watch Demolition Man, get some of these weird dystopian movies out. It's
real. It's real, right? Yeah.
It's unfolding right before our eyes.
Yeah. And like upgrades that way too. I watched that one with Neuralink, self-driving cars and drones and stuff. That movie is really close to where we are now. It's like we're living in some type of weird sci-fi things. Now, I got a message, someone asking me about the foam pouches, like the purpose of the foam pouches. I can tell you what I would have used it for, and it's probably a self-incriminating reason, but I really don't care. When I got off of the plane in New York, when coming back from Florida, I was met by the military. I stopped in a lot of different places, but up here in New York, the military met me, and they pretty much walled off where you couldn't move past them without filling out a form or being contact traced. But if I want to travel somewhere, I don't know. It's probably illegal. I don't really care, but I would have put it in that pouch. That's what I would have done with it. But they didn't track me, so I don't know. A lot of this to me is like a hype too. I had to fill out a form, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't, like, no one chased me down or anything. I'm pretty sure they tracked me, but no one came after me. Or what I'm saying is I've drove across the country 3 or 4 times, and no one's stopped me. So
yeah,
what is this about?
Quite there yet. I don't think we're there yet with the contact tracing. I think they're putting the infrastructure in place. Everybody wants privacy. Right. I put the phone in the bag when I go into town, or I go get whatever I do with my life, because I don't need anybody knowing exactly what I'm doing or where I'm going or whatever. Because if it just happens that some new COVID variant hits or whatever, and this contact tracing really, what they want to do with the contact tracing is say, oh, hey, Joe or Sally over here, she's got this new COVID variant, and she went to Starbucks. And so anybody who came within 100 feet of her during this time frame, and she also went to the grocery store too, and she went to the mall, and she did this. And so all these people that came within, and they know based on the phone, and then they'll hit up all these people and have them get tested, or maybe give them the jab if we get to that. But before we get there, it's just a lot of people just feel safe just not being in that circle, in that cycle. But also you can just slip it in the phone pouch to eliminate radiation. Once you start to learn about your radiation and how much you're being exposed to, and get yourself a nice EMF meter, it's a bioaccumulating thing. We're slowly accumulating the radiation until slowly but surely we have impacts like we're not producing chemicals right, or the biggest thing that's very simple is our rhythm gets thrown off, our circadian rhythm. And if our body doesn't know what time of day it is based on our very fragile biological clock called the circadian rhythm, then we start to get thrown off on what chemicals are made at what time of the day, and we don't start to make dopamine precursors or dopamine or serotonin, melatonin, and all sorts of things like that. So it's a lot of people that enjoy the foam bags, they slip them in at a certain time of the day, they take it out at a certain time of the day, and they get in a rhythm of just not getting radiated during certain times of the day when it's like nighttime and your body's not wanting to absorb this artificial light that is radiation. Also, same thing with blue light. When you start to learn about blue light and EMF radiation can kind of be synonymous when it comes to throwing off your biological cycles and rhythms. But altogether, there's a privacy thing. When I when I used to have a smartphone, I would put that thing on airplane mode and slip it in my phone bag, and it would get all hot trying to figure out what was going on because it wasn't satisfied. It had all these things that wanted to run listening to me even when it was supposed to be chilling out. So it's like some people just don't want that constant background noise of them recording or whatever they do with these certain, behind the scenes apps that are now always rolling.
Yeah, mine is like, it's I don't even know. Like it's already tracking everything I do, everything I say. It's obvious now. I could talk about a subject matter and the next day it's talking about it on the phone. And I know we bring this stuff up a lot, but it's getting to the point where it's really freaky. But here's the thing. Like a lot of people say this too, Matt. They're like, well, I mean, it's for advertising. It's for conversions. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't have anything to hide. So why should I care? Right? Like, why get stressed about it? That's what I've heard from a lot of people.
I've heard that before too. And they're just collecting data. It's just for marketing purposes. Well, when they're coming to your door because you were at Starbucks when Sally was there and she's got the new COVID number 37,000 or whatever, things are going to be a lot different. It's the police state infrastructure is getting put into place. Okay, for what to what end? Social credit system. I mean, if you're in China, all right, and you're a woman and you say out loud, "Oh, I forgot to take my birth control pill," if your phone is listening and everything is there, listening and in place, you get dinged points and your social credit score goes lower, and everybody knows it. I mean, it is that involved. That's a fact. The whole birth control thing is a fact. So there's such a monitoring system there that people in certain situations would literally kill for some privacy. You know what I'm saying? We're not quite there yet, but the infrastructure is being put in place that, yeah, you think it's just for marketing. No, it's not being just for marketing. It's to figure out who does what, how they do it, and why they do it so that the AI control system can literally put in place a freaking social credit system. That is going to be the end of our freedoms as we know it when we have a little number attached to our name and everybody can see that number, and we don't have any cash money anymore. We can't transact dollar bills, and we've got to have this total digital currency, digital lifestyle, and everything is monitored. Every single thing we do is monitored. It's already bad enough that everyone's losing their jobs and has to wear a mask if they want to do anything in person, and everything's got to be online, and people are trying to figure out. I've got friends that are in stand-up comedy. I've got friends that are in the music industry. All of their stuff is now just Zoom. Like, it is just completely insane that all of these different identities, these different jobs, everything has been put online. And if you don't have the ability to adapt, if you live in an industry that can't let you adapt, you're forced to get the vaccination. Like, there's so many things that are slipping so fast that no, it's not just a collection of data. No, it's an AI technocracy that's figuring out how they can do exactly what they're doing right now and push us, just keep pushing these buttons. Oh yeah, you have to get anal swabs, and oh yeah, you have to wear 3 masks, and oh, we're just going to push a little more and a little more. You know why they can push a little more? Because their supercomputers collected so much data on us that they know that they can push us a little more, and they know that we're not going to react, and they know how we're going to react and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, because people said to themselves, oh no, they're just collecting data to sell me stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that kind of gets on my nerves when I hear people say that too. So that's a pretty good response. Yeah, thanks for saying that. We're already at the top of the hour, guys. So I'll have the phone lines open too at 1-800-588-0335. We're going to take our first break of the night. We'll be right back with Matt Landman. Go to actualactivist.com and check out his website. Also check out the pouches too. That's pretty cool. We'll be right back. Oh, man.
This is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is Fee, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root in the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
This is Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
Have you heard of heavy metals? Yeah! I'm not talking about the heavy metals in the junkyard. I'm talking about the heavy metals that build up in your body. Heavy metals in your body can make you feel sluggish, fatigued, and just plain off. Why not try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com? Cleansing your body and making you feel great. Cleansing the inside of your body of intruders that sneak their way into you and set up an intruder camp. Life Change Tea helps remove unwanted intruder camps. Brew it, steep it, and drink in the results. Tastes great, so you can create a new health habit. Our tea loves to help people. It just needs the chance. So order yours today by logging on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Our Life Change Super Strength Tea is waiting. This could be a beautiful relationship. Take charge of your health. Order at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com.
The Fringe FM isn't just a radio station. We also provide services for all your audio production needs. If you are interested in live radio or pre-recorded podcasts, we're here to help. We even do audio enhancements and voiceovers if needed. If you want to do a podcast or live radio show and even want the option to syndicate on terrestrial radio, from simple audio file enhancement to live production and call screening, we have you covered. We have worked with some of the best professionals in the business in order to provide coaching instruction for content creation, show structure, and more. Contact The Fringe Digital Media for more at info@thefringe.fm. That's info@thefringe.fm. Or call 501-777-5631 for a consultation.
Arkansas. You are listening to Joe Roop and Lighting the Void here on the Fringe FM.
Hey, this is Amalia from Know the Self Mystery School. I know that you are in the midst of massive change. We all are. This is the great turning, the time that we all decided to be here on the planet. Do you know why you came here to be a part of this crazy time? If not, I invite you to join my mystery school. I have a 9-week course called Activate Your Mission. And in this course, you're going to learn how to erect crystal clear boundaries so that you can hear that inner still voice that's going to guide your every move. Even if you're dealing with feeling weighed down by obligation and being enslaved to the system, this course is going to give you the tools you need to illuminate your shadow and awaken to your soul's mission. The moment you sign up to the school, you are going to be greeted by not only a group of soulful spiritual warriors, but you're also going to get some massive karmic clearings, and you're going to feel the energy. It's palpable. I hope you'll join me in the school where together we're going to unlock your divine mission.
Activate your mission by going to thefringe.fm/soul mission and put in the code word FRINGE and receive $50 off today.
Matt Landman, our guest tonight here on Lighting the Void. Phone lines are open too. Is 1-800-588-0335. If you're new to this broadcast, you can listen to this broadcast on the Fringe FM after Troubled Minds Radio and right before the Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable, 5 nights a week, 9 p.m. Pacific to 11. And Matt Landman is here with us from actualactivist.com. And it's pretty cool about the pouches and stuff that you're selling. I think that's good. The clothing and everything. I had so many conversations with people when people were worried about being contact traced and stuff. And I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about your stuff because I was like, yeah, maybe I should put my phone in a microwave or something, but that's a better answer. I mean, I don't know. I think everybody should have one of these things, honestly, I still get my neighbors that tell me, you guys are just paranoid, but I don't think they do the actual research. It gets pretty frustrating, actually,
Let them watch Frankenskies, the movie. I think any of these eye-opening expose kind of things, it doesn't have to be chemtrails. It can be another topic. But a lot of these different topics, truth-oriented, once you start to see the truth in one regard, it can be 9/11 or it can be fluoride in your water, but once you start to catch on to one truth is like a frequency, you start to ride that frequency and all these other truths just start to become self-evident. So any of these truths can start to open people's eyes and they can see the rest of the world for what it really is in this COVID-1984 dystopia, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And so another question a lot of people have, because we talk about this spirituality and metaphysics a lot on this program too, is, at what level does our internal state affect how our body responds to the external environment? A lot of times, I don't think people really realize what this stuff can do to you, even emotionally, or your mood, or obviously cancer is a problem, and radiation, but even, just your mood. I really feel like it affects that too. Don't you? You know more about this than I do, but how it actually affects our energetic state is what I'm talking about.
Oh, for sure. There's studies on fear and what fear does to cortisol levels. And when you're in that state, you're basically immunocompromised. Your body's like shutting down in that state. But if you just, it takes a little bit of trust to go down these rabbit holes and really go there. Some people have to have like a spiritual wake up call, or some people have to have like a near death experience or something like that, or a family member, whatever. Everybody has a different journey, and if it's in the cards for you, you'll have that experience that opens your eyes I mean, for me, it started with 9/11. I was glued to the television screen that day because my girlfriend lived in New York and I lived in DC, you know, and I couldn't get a hold of her, and I was really involved in that. And then come to find out, someone shows me some documentary that just blew my mind, because some of that stuff is just right in your face. A lot of that stuff with the Pentagon and everything, but with the current, you know, world, there's so much more to it. And I mean, it's a spiritual journey really for me. So where I'm going with this is, it takes a little bit of belief to go there, but I've seen the studies repeated time and time again, like the rice experiment. I love you, I hate you rice experiment. People have done these experiments over and over and over. A jar of rice, 2 jars of rice. One I love you, one I hate you written on it, and people say I love you, I hate you to it every day, and the I hate you rice gets nice and black. You know, the studies of Masaru Emoto, rest in peace. I was told and believe that he was assassinated for his work, but it's amazing what he did with water and frequency. What Masaru Emoto out of Japan did, he's in great book. He's got a couple books still about the water, the discoveries in water. But what would happen is people would say, and the experiments were repeated. People would say, similar to the I love you, I hate you, people would put the frequency of their intention into water and then freeze it and put it under a microscope. And Adolf Hitler always looks all nasty and gnarly and weird, and I love you always looks the same. And same with, you know, other words aside from Adolf Hitler and I love you. And he did a whole book on it. And yeah, we're made of water. And the cells and the water in our bodies and everything, the resonant frequency at which we operate on, if you're saying over and over, if your mantra is positive, then you're on a higher vibration in your cells and everything. The water in your body is literally structured differently. But if you're in a state of fear and all you're ingesting, you know, it is what you eat, you are what you eat, but it's also what you consume in terms of media and everything like that. And if you're listening to garbage music and garbage TV and you're consuming garbage, you know, in frequency and food and everything you ingest is garbage, you're also going to, you know, have a garbage life, you know, in general. You're going to emit that frequency and you're not going to be well altogether. People that are sick, they're not, you know, living the rules of life. If you learn about how simple it is to fast for 48 hours and reset your cells, or how simple the studies of Dr. Sebi, S-E-B-I. Dr. Sebi just studied alkaline food, just diet alone. And people were getting cured of literally everything by bringing their body acidity above 7.4. Once you get into this alkaline of much higher than 7.5, in this alkaline environment, things like acid, cancer, things like like cancer and certain things need the acid to thrive. So they can't even sustain in these certain environments. And the simplicity of it all, you know, is why the pharmaceutical industry has attacked it so much, because the truth is so simple. So yeah, you can really own your own, you can own it. You can own all of it if you just focus on maintaining your own well-being and turning off the TV and honoring some of these like these proven things like eating well and whatnot.
Yeah, I think this stuff rubs off on everybody else too. Like, think about your relationships that you have with people, right? And then you're in a constant environment of, you know, being dusted with metal, being hit with radiation, and then feeling bad in your moods, and then the negativity, it like perpetuates, and then everybody's unsure, everybody's uncertain, almost to a level of paranoia, which is kind of opposite of what you want to do when you're on a level of truth, right? That should be making you feel more free and more empowered, but instead it turns everybody a lot of times into this a pessimistic state about everything. And I just think it's all backwards. I don't think by educating people about 5G, by chemtrails and everything that's going on in your body, should make people afraid. I think it should make them empowered and go, oh, well, now I know how to take care of myself. Now I know how to watch out for this, and I know how to, better take care of my own sovereignty. But for some reason, it gets a big negative connotation too. It's like, well, that's, the simplest excuse for it all, Matt, is, well, that's just negative paranoid thinking. And that frustrates me to death too. And I get what people are saying, but at the same time, like, we can't stay in a state of, I don't guess naivety would be the word that kind of gets on my nerves. I don't talk about this stuff a lot on this show, but if someone like you or an actual activist is going to come on here, somebody with solutions that's trying to help, I love talking to you guys because I think this is a positive thing, but people really look at it negatively a lot,
Well, I can see why, but to take a big step back and to fully comprehend why we are under attack is to see our true powers and our true potential. I mean, we are literally, we're not, I don't want to say we're gods because God is God, but we are a sliver of God. We have the power, and we can do it. We can do it all. And that's what they're afraid of. That's why they've pulled out all the stops. That's why they went back all the way to our parents' generation and started brainwashing them. I mean, literally from the get-go. And you can laugh at it. You can turn it into a satire. Dude, when they came out with anal swabs, I just laughed and said, we're in a South Park movie. We just got to live it and have fun with it and bring it to our friends and family and peers in a very lighthearted nature. Because, yeah, I definitely see where they're coming from. But guess who also propagates, or who really does propagate the fear and paranoia? It's the news, man. Every time I read the headlines, I don't play that game. I don't buy the newspaper, but I do see the newspaper at the grocery store. And every time I see a headline, I laugh. And I sometimes take a photo of it because it's insane what they're doing to the American or the global population. And it's a frequency, right? But we have the opportunity to really to snap out of it through empowerment. I mean, to know our true powers and to see that they're literally trying to make sure that we cannot evolve into creators. Like we are, like they need us. They need us to co-create a world of fear together because we're the ones in charge, and they need to coerce us through the media and through toxins and all these different things. We should feel pretty like important, and at the end of it all, I know it's upsetting and it is a big kick in the face that, okay, yeah, these entities that are supposed to be looking out for our best interests are actually against us. But at the end of the day, if you can see it as a spiritual journey, and how many people are actually lucky enough to embrace the truth. Like if you're on that path and you're being exposed to the truth, you can't just shoot the messenger. You can't just be upset with the person who's trying to set you free. You get to remove these shackles of potential like eternal slavery. It's amazing. So to step into that light and to honor the light with integrity. And then also you got to realize you're an infinite being. This isn't your only stupid little life. Because when people get caught up in that and let the ego go, then they can, serve truth. But when people are caught up in like, oh, this is my only time, I got to really have fun and make a lot of money and like go get a jet ski or something like that, or whatever these people think that life is all about. To see the bigger picture, to see what, your spiritual journey is, I think. I don't know. For me, it's really, I see the bigger picture. And so I wouldn't do it any other way. It's like, how would I get the veil removed from my eyes and go searching for that veil again? I never would. I'm not that kind of person, but maybe there are people out there that would rather just be ignorant. I mean, I don't really think ignorance is bliss anymore, though. It's pretty painful nowadays.
Yeah, it definitely is painful. And people, I think a lot of that comes from fear. Like this whole, well, I gotta, also practicality. I like practicality, but a lot of that comes from fear too. And what I'm saying is in my case, at least for the past 4 years, I've been doing this whole radio mission thing on entirely nothing but faith and support, right? And there's always that voice that tells you to keep going, you know. And there's been times when I thought about, I don't know about you, but there's been times when I thought about, man, I should just quit. Like, I should quit and I should do, you know, just get a regular job and just get back into the world and maybe be happy. And every time I've even thought about that, a message has come from somebody. It could be a listener. It could be someone that's followed forever that, like, hey, you changed my life. Please don't quit. Right. And then you kind of know again, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm helping people. Right. So, yeah, I totally think truth is a frequency, but truth is also a frequency about what's your own truth too, and sticking with that. Because I imagine when you started this journey, man, you probably had like what, a group full of people that surrounded you, what, 3 or 4, maybe 8 people that knew you were doing this or something. And then it just kind of, I guess you had a calling, right? So now you got all kinds of people that follow you, if you know what I'm talking about.
It really, yeah, it started just me, really. But it started off with me realizing that chemtrails were real, and then realizing that I couldn't just give it the benefit of the doubt and that there was evil. And I'm not evil. I knew I had to fight it, kind of thing, and represent good. And it all kind of evolved from there. I never thought it would be this like lifelong journey. I didn't even know what was happening as it started. I just kind of fell into it, if that makes sense. It's just like sometimes you feel like you have this moral obligation to do something. Like the house is on fire. You got to do something, right? You save the people that are in the house, and you don't think. That's kind of how it was on my journey.
Yeah.
But with that said, and thank you for sharing your beautiful story, every time I've ever been in a rut, I swear it's like the universe or angels or God, and the same exact story as you. They don't let me get down into that low. Like right. I bounce right out of it, because out of the clear blue sky, somebody's hitting me up. Like you said, dude, I've done things like literally given my last $300 to like another activist or something. And then someone hits me up that day with a $300 donation. It's just like, it's just like literally the balancing act that happens when you're doing things from your heart. It's an unbelievable experience, and it's not even, it's almost impossible to put into words, but we do live in a world of frequency and vibration, and what you put in, you do get out. You know, the love you take is equal to the love you make, or whatever that Beatles quote is, but it's real. It really is real. And once you start doing work for the good and really, you know, put yourself in alignment, you may really actually get tested. And I don't know if it's your self-testing you or your higher self or God or whatever it is, but if you've got that integrity and you're in alignment, you know, the universe will actually look out for you. It's unbelievable. I mean, I started asking myself, is this EMF clothing line going to work out? And then COVID hit, and I was like, oh, I'm screwed. You know, I'm never going to have any business ever. And then people started contacting me saying, I need the clothing. The 5G is COVID. And I was like, oh, I don't even know if that's true. And they're like, I don't care. I'll buy a shirt. Do you have any shirts? And I was like, no, I don't have any shirts. And then someone actually like reached out to me. I had done a show. I've gone like on like 300 shows, brother. You know, I just keep doing it. And a show host just like you hit me up and actually wanted to help me and invest in whatever, and saw the opportunity. And she helped me make the shirts. I got the shirts out, and like, it was just like the universe does. If you try and you're doing it for the good, and you're not just trying to, you know, get yourself a yacht or whatever it is that these evil people think that they want, you know, it does end up coming together. So I encourage everyone out there, if you have a passion, I mean, it can even be that you don't like animal cruelty, or you want to start farm school, or I really like the idea of the community supported agriculture, where in your community, different people grow different things and you share vegetables and stuff like that. There's so many cool activism things out there. If there's fluoride in your water and you learn about fluoride and you know, it getting into your gut doesn't help your teeth whatsoever. There's all sorts of things that you can stand up for if you have that passion and fire and you see, or there's something. I mean, a lot of people that are listening, they're like, well, I really do, really feel for the pandas or the, redwoods or whatever it is.
Maybe your own cats, your dog. I just was talking about that earlier during the show, like, but at the first thing where we were talking about pets, or people love their pets more than they love humans. Well, what about your cat and your dog, right? Like, what about that? If you love them so much, they're getting peppered with this stuff too. I was making a point earlier, Matt, that during this COVID thing, that people have more interaction with their pets, like their cats and dogs, than they do, humans right now, which was kind of weird to me. But yeah, I'm sure this stuff would mess up your pets too, just as much as it will your family,
Oh, for sure. And what's really interesting about that whole interaction thing that you mentioned is as they roll out the technology and the virtual reality headsets and all these video games, we're going to be offered more FaceTime interaction. And it's already happening with Zoom meetings and whatnot, but we're going to have more FaceTime interaction over the internet than in real life. They're trying to digitize that whole experience so that we think that one-on-one, like, human interaction is like germy and dirty and stuff. And if you look at this Agenda 2030 and 2050 and stuff, eventually down the line, something like 2050, they want people staying at home while their avatars, like literal, I guess, robots, go out and do the human bidding, like go to the grocery store and do their things, while the human is like at home with a virtual reality headset, like steering these things around. So yeah, I mean, pets are cool, but we really need to cherish these humanities. Like, get out there in the world, you guys, and do not wear that mask while you're driving down the street. Please, God, you got to know that nothing's going to hop into your car and hurt you that has a 0% kill rate anyways. But yeah, everything is under attack. And if you honor your pets enough, you can stand up and talk about, like, how the bees or the bee population's being decimated, and it's leading back to aluminum, and you don't want your animals and everything. It's all life on Earth is being impacted by these different things, and it is a process. You learn the truth, it pisses you off, it's a big kick in the face, but then you wake up, and then it's empowering, and there is a divine rage that's not really like the fear-driven anger. It's more empowering and inspiring. And once you wake one person up, okay, and by waking up, I mean they contact you later and say, thank you, you've changed my life forever because you put me in this direction, you showed me that movie or whatever you did. It is so important and invigorating. And all it really takes sometimes is planting these seeds. The thing is our friends and our family and our peers, we know where they're at. I can't go meet your mom and know exactly how to speak to her, to meet her on her level, to tell her, do you have to go to commercial break?
No, I'm listening to what you're saying.
Oh, cool. So meeting people at their level is so important. And only we can do that to our coworkers and our peers, or brother or sister or neighbor or best friend or whatever. And when we meet them on their level, instead of having the media frame it as a conspiracy theory and have the socially engineered predictive program, perfectly articulated manipulation agenda, convince the perception of your friend, and they perceive it a certain way. Instead of that, you can meet them where they're at and explain to them this truth, whatever it may be. And that little truth, that little seed planted, right? And then suddenly here we are in a COVID dystopia, and these seeds have been planted, and now we have the fertile soil for these seeds to take root and grow and blossom. And these people that never thought that they were going to wake up are scratching their head and saying, wait a second, Johnny was telling me that vaccines were toxic and that the pharmaceutical industry was up to no good. Now they're telling me it's not even going to cure the virus. The virus hasn't been isolated, but I should get injected with this, and I still have to wear my mask, and I got to get multiple injections, but it's going to alter my DNA, but it's still not going to, I'm still not going to be protected from it.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
People can start to scratch their head when you plant the seeds for them, but sometimes the mind isn't ready to go there unless you open the door for them. I've witnessed it time and time again. People see the craziest things. They see the craziest chemtrails in the sky or something like that, and they don't have a frame of reference. But then you come and you open the discussion, and then they actually have a memory from the day before that they didn't even remember that happened, and then they have this amazing conversation, you know. But it's really fragile, the way that the human mind has been manipulated and coerced into this certain, you know, cookie cutter little thing for everyone to think the same way. But also in that same light, we can snap people out of it so easily because the spell it's just been broadcast over the media. Mm-hmm. It's not this individual little spell for each person. So it's not in that case, we can snap our friends and family out of it because they're not those, you know, zombies like everybody else. We can really get to them and find where their heart and mind is at and show them the truth in our own way. And that's why we're here. It's really important to do that sort of thing. Yeah. Because imagine we're actually giving them the ability to set their soul free from what could be, you know, transhuman, you know, eternal slavery or something weird like that.
Yeah, for sure, man, because that's definitely what's coming. I believe that's coming anyways. But yeah, now we're at our last commercial break too. If you want to talk to Matt, you can call at 1-800-588-0335. You can also call, someone said there was a problem with that number, so you can call the direct number into the show too, which is 501-300-0292. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, the Fringe FM.
Want to support Lighting the Void? Just go to lightingthevoid.com, sign up on our membership page and pick your package where you can get exclusive content, readings, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Also, check out the LTV shop where you can get your very own altar box, t-shirt, shack, hoodie with sigil, Roswell-style t-shirt, racerback tees, socks, long-sleeve shirts, stickers, and beanies. Keep Lighting the Void airing 5 nights a week by going to lightingthevoid.com and support today.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Lighting the Void and the Esoteric Scholar present the Altar Box, crafted and designed for magicians by magicians. Now you can take your practice with you. This beautifully handcrafted mobile altar opens and works as an altar for any of your spiritual, religious, or ritual practices. Made to travel and work in small spaces, the Altar Box comes with hidden compartments for your practice tools and accessories. The Altar Box also comes with a dark scrying mirror for scrying and reverses and fits perfectly also as a chalkboard for any sigil, symbol, or whatever you see fit to sketch. The Altar Box is handcrafted to carry as a small suitcase, so you may take your practice with you, and the hinges are made with solid material and hinged with leather and rivets for extra strength. The mirror piece and floor plate fit perfectly when closed, so no movement will happen. Use it in small places as well. You can practice meditation, magic, planetary magic, sigil magic, scrying, ritual. Never be without your practice tools again, no matter the setting or where you go. And this season, give the gift of magic for yourself or your loved one by grabbing your altar box. Was $249.99, now $199.99. The sale ends January 1st, 2021. Just go to lightingthevoid.com/altar box and get yours while the sale lasts.
I don't know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I am a void walker. Hey, this is Macon, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Root.
A brave new world we're probably going into here tonight, talking with Matt Landman from actualactivist.com. I was just talking to Matt during the break about some of these movies to talk about transhumanism and things like that. And I know you brought up Bitcoin. I didn't know that there was that many cryptocurrencies, man. I thought there was like 7 or 8, but there's like hundreds of them, right? Maybe thousands of different types of cryptocurrencies out now. I think they got this new podcast 2.0 they're talking about bringing out. I don't know, but we've been talking about artificial intelligence for, God, right when it first started coming out, we were talking about it on this show thinking, well, it's coming, right? It's going to happen. And then I remember when Jared Lanier went out and they had this big debate against the people that created that Sophia bot. And he said that, he was like one of the greatest analysts or whatever, but he said that our society isn't ready for artificial intelligence or this type of technology. So, I mean, I'm just curious on what your thoughts are about that, because we're in a society where everybody's afraid and submissive, afraid, uncertain, and submissive. And then if you take that plus an artificial intelligent machine that comes along and handles social currency, cryptocurrency, also everything else, shopping, whatever, you name it. That's a pretty bad combination, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Joe, I was thinking about this recently. Dude, we got the internet 20 years ago. Like, we're still so naive as far as technology. I mean, I'm still young, right? I say I'm still young. I'm 40, but I had a pager, when I was a teenager, and I had dial-up internet when I was a teenager, and I experienced all this stuff. I don't think that the world, the generation preceding my generation, is ready for this dystopia that they think that they're ready for. It's not even funny. We're as a species, we're being blindsided. I feel like it's a very intrusive, like almost like a virus that it introduced itself as the television set, and it was black and white, and it was so engaging and enthralling. And then there was a man walking on the moon in our living room all of a sudden, and all the families gathered around, and it was so it was such a part of our identity, at that time. And it was completely BS, in my opinion. And then all of a sudden we've got color TV, and then we've got VHS, and you can record things. And then we've got, I don't need to go through it all, but it was bit by bit by bit by bit. And now it's about to get inside of us, literally, with Neuralink and AI and all of this. And it's such a slippery slope. We've only had the internet for 20 years. And now there's such a flow of information that the whole world can get put on a lockdown, and everybody knows it, and everybody's doing the exact same thing. They never would have been able to do this COVID global lockdown thing 20 years ago. Think about the flow of information and how easily we could be manipulated in mass. So I looked it up really quick. 6,241 cryptos right now out there in the world. Now, I've done some research on this, and it's fascinating that the Bitcoin thing has gone from a penny a long time ago to now it's like at $50,000. And there's some people that got really rich on that. Who invented it? Nobody knows. Okay. Well, when a currency gets created and it goes from a penny to $50,000 per coin, they call it, no one knows who created this thing. And there's nobody that's just sitting on all this money from having created it. There's no story to who. That's kind of fishy in my eyes. So now the fact that there's over 6,000 different cryptos, start looking into these cryptos. Some of them have gone up like 1,000,000%, from fractions of a penny to dollar bills to $10, $20, thousands of dollars. And what are these, and where do they come from? Who's making the money, and is it traceable, and is it all on some blockchain thing? I've found out that some of the cryptos have just come from AI, from computers. Like, there's no human backing these things. There's no person behind it. So there's like literal rogue AI technologies that have found it important enough to take their time to launch a crypto, and then they've gotten rich. So there's literal AI entities out there with money. Are we going to continue in this dystopia and give them the platform to be able to spend this money? Because I know on the dark net, you can do some weird things. You can literally hire a hitman on the dark net with Bitcoin and do really dark, weird stuff. Do you want AI, like some robot that doesn't have a conscience, being able to do these weird, dark things? I don't like that this stuff exists even from the get-go, but I think that it's a weird, slippery slope. And you've got like Elon Musk, he's saying, and he's all part of the game, but he's saying, oh, we've got to become AI before AI comes and gets us and all this stuff. I mean, my grandmother, she was there when like the television set, the automobile even, she's really old, but like the fact that there's still people alive that have seen all of this progress, we need to take a step back and honor our children and show them some nature. Like literally, like it's getting really out of hand. And I know we went to Mars today, supposedly. That's like some drone was dropping something on Mars. I saw on the front page of the media that I don't trust anyway.
Rover, right?
Yeah, and I know Elon Musk supposedly shot a convertible into space, and he wants to go to Mars, and that convertible was so bogus. And I know that people look up to Elon Musk now because he's the richest man on Earth, supposedly, for no good reason, aside from his stock being overinflated, and who controls the stock market but nefarious characters. And really, if you look at it all, and he's got this Neuralink, and the Neuralink agenda is so sad and weird. Okay, first of all, Elon Musk is now married to this Grimes celebrity character musician, and she publicly, well, first of all, she had a music video last year, or in 2019 rather, right before the COVID pandemic, and everyone's wearing masks. It's this totally predictive programming, satanic, ritualistic looking thing. But she also publicly sold her soul for like $20 million or something like that. And then, so she's pretty dark. And then they had a child together, Elon Musk and Grimes, and the child's name is, it's such a weird name, and it's got something to do with AI and it's AI, Archangel, and one other word, like last resort or something weird. This kid, I know, I can feel it in my gut. He's going to be the poster child for Neuralink. Okay. And Neuralink is going to convince people to have this like hive mind. It's out of this dystopian, the Borg or Singularity or whatever, where everyone has the same emotions together, the same thoughts together. Yeah. Like if I see a butterfly, you see the butterfly. Oh, goody. If I go to the bathroom, you get to go to the bathroom with me. It's just like, this is in no way where humanity should go. We all have individual souls, and we're here to like shed karma and live a physical experience in a very unique human body. And that the minute that we start to go into this weird black dark mirror episode where we're transferring consciousnesses and doing all this weird stuff, it's literally, I see it as a good and evil battle. And we're taking the side against all that is natural and good when we start to think that we need to become robots because we're not good enough or something like that. We are actually beyond good enough. And the minute that we realize that all of this, evil is going to come crumbling down. So I can't wait.
Well, my son is like this massive video game player, and he sent me this new picture that has everything to do with, it's like a virtual reality thing where you can run and squat. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like a half upside down dome you can run and squat and move around in. And he's like, look at this, Dad, this is going to be $2,000. And he, I'm trying to bond with him. So I ended up playing like Fortnite with him. And I see this whole thing, how it's working out too, because there's a store and you can dress up and everybody's doing the same thing. And it's so wild. It's kind of like The Sims. But I'm like, okay, well, I'll get bored of this. But as soon as I got to win, because I totally won the other night on Fortnite, I was addicted, locked in, right? I'm locked into this thing. My son, he's about to turn 17, right? Oh. But his emotional state, I remember when I was 16 or 17, right? All he does is play video games. He gets good grades. But his emotional state is kind of like Rain Man, right? Like, yeah. But when he's in video games, it's a whole new world. That freaks me out because when artificial intelligence, which it's already in the game, by the way, into the VR, I know this sounds conspiratorial, but just look at what's happening with it. And it is addicting because I played the other day and I won and I was addicted immediately. I just kept playing. I couldn't help it. And I'm grown and I know this stuff. So it's extremely hard not to get sucked into this world because all the toys are so cool too. You know what I mean? That's another problem.
Well, Joe, when you're going into the real world and everyone's wearing a mask and giving you a dirty look, and you go into the fake world and it's party time and people got their masks off and you can see their faces and you can actually interact with your friends, finally, it's a total setup.
Yeah.
So I've been interacting with some kids that are a little younger. That's why I asked his age. The generation below that, I've been hanging out with some like 8, 9, and 10 and 11-year-olds, and there's this game called Roblox. You know about it?
Yeah, I've played Roblox before, actually. Yeah, I know about it, but I think I know what you're going to talk about. I haven't played it in a while though, but go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, Roblox, I never thought it could be so cool. I thought the kids were just playing some random game, but it's an online virtual world. It's a whole world. They're walking around in this world and they're buying cars from their friends so they can drive to the other side of town to play a game that they built that's still there. They get to build a game and play the games. There's games all throughout their little world. It's more entertaining than this world could ever be. It's unreal. They got snowmen that are following them around. They got to feed the snowman. They go inside of the house and they lock the door so no one else can come in and stuff. It's a virtual world. They don't even have the headsets yet. Roblox hasn't even come out with their IPO to come out with all this technology that they're going to come out with. You better believe that we're going to see these kids with augmented reality and they're going to be, if we're not augmented reality, if we're not augmented like they are, we're not even going to see the things that they see. And they're going to be, out in the world, like, you know what augmented reality is, right? It's like you got a contact lens on, basically, that's digital. They'll eventually put a implant in people's eyes, I think, but they'll be seeing like a virtual world on top overlay, basically.
Yeah, they already do that. They've already started testing that with games on your phones and stuff. Pokemon was like the first one, like the 16-bit version of an augmented reality, and then they had another one for Android. And as soon as they put it in front of your eyes and get your senses involved, then it's over. Imagine that, like a world of it. Like they're really, dude, it's really freaky the more I think about it, because they're really trying to make this world kind of suck, and they're doing a good job of it with the COVID thing and all this other stuff, and then just blast us with all the sensory, just the sensory, not deprivation, but the opposite, whatever a good opposite word of deprivation would be. Overload, yeah. And look how amazing it is, and it's fun and awesome. Meanwhile, your body's decaying, right? And forget intimacy. I don't know if you ever read about where they were actually telling people how to kiss and have sex and all this other stuff, trying to tell people how to do that properly because of COVID. Like, how in the hell? I mean, it's bad enough that we don't have control over our skies, but now you're telling us what to do in the bedroom. And then they have shock collars for some kids in China with this stuff. They got the anal swabs. I'm telling you, man, I know it sounds really dark, but it's almost laughable. It's so dark sometimes when you think about it.
Well, that's what I was saying. They couldn't have pulled this off 20 years ago because people wouldn't have heard about it in some portions of the world. For one, they'd be like, what are you talking about? And secondly, they didn't have the stimulus to get people to stay inside the whole time. People couldn't sit and scroll on their smartphones and get on their virtual reality headsets and do all these other things. They didn't have the infrastructure put into place. So now that they do, they could pull it off. Exactly. So what was I going to say? So first of all, what I think is very daunting is all of the children have been completely conditioned now to not play sports. I just realized this the other day. There's no contact. There's no school that has sports anymore. Like I can't see sports even existing as we go into the future. And that takes the fight out of a whole generation, because when you're competitive and you're catching a touchdown pass, I mean, that gives you some testosterone, bro, and you feel like you're a man. If they take that away and sit you on your couch and have you eating, Cheetos and living that environment in a virtual world where you're not even really even running, that dome thing sounds like straight out of Star Trek, by the way. But if you see, I mean, like the holodeck or whatever. Yeah. So you mentioned the way that they're telling us how to or not be intimate. Right. In the movie Demolition Man, if you haven't seen that movie, I'd love for you to dig it up. I've seen it where
they put the sex helmet on, and he's like,
yeah, they can't touch.
Like, I didn't, touch during she's like, what did you stop the connection for? And he's like, what connection? I didn't even touch you. Yeah, that's what's coming next, for sure.
Yeah, and that movie is stock full of predictive programming. They even predictively programmed Schwarzenegger's the governor of California, and he does even become it. But yeah, these movies, what they are they push the envelope super far, and then when we're anything short of it, people are conditioned to think that it's okay. Like the movie Geostorm. Geostorm is this like rogue AI takes over the weather, and then we're attacked by storms, and it's all super bad. Well, it's almost there, but it's falls short of that where we're at with this controlled experimental attack on Texas and whatnot with the engineered storms. And I mean, we could talk about that forever. But I do like this. I really do like, and I know I've witnessed what you're talking about with your son, where the children are kind of despondent because, honest to God, these things are very predatory. The screens are flashing on and off like 10,000 times per second. These screens are built to manipulate your nervous system. And when a child, this isn't the same as us when we were staring at television sets. This is a child being drawn into the internet, which is an infinite information source, right? They don't even need their parents anymore. They can just ask They can just ask the internet and they think that that is okay. But also, like you said, the infinite stimuli where these kids can go into a virtual world and do all of these things that they can't even do anymore. You can't even go out and, I mean, bro, they locked up my tennis courts down the street in my little neighborhood. They put chains on them. I got bolt cutters and cut the chains, and they came back and put on chains. And I got the cutters and cut the chains, and they came back and put on the chains. And we're in this like endless, we're in this endless loop now. I don't even know what to do with myself now because it's just like I don't know where they're getting all these chains, and I don't know why they're still playing this game. But like, there's no tennis being played. I mean, maybe in between there's a little bit, which is exciting, but it's like they are taking the drive out of these kids. And I've literally witnessed, my friend has a kindergartner, and the public school said, yeah, you're going to do at-home learning, like 6 hours a day. We're going to bring you a laptop, and we're going to plop your kindergartner in front of this laptop, and that's it. And they got to sit still in front of this computer. He said, no way. But some parents, their hands are tied. And that's what's really scary about this new world. It's so important. Everybody listening, please, please understand that if you're not in it, then someone else is in it right now. And it could be your neighbor or a family member or whoever you know that is a single parent or whatever it is, because this whole previous paradigm where the parent goes to work and then comes and picks their kid up from school and all that stuff, everything is dismantled and broken now that the kids are literally being, well, it's tortured, to be honest, but they're literally being coerced into becoming a totally different human by wearing these masks and not looking and touching each other and all this kind of stuff. It's just complete absurdity to put a child through this, you know, when the child was actually a normal kid a year ago. So parents are having to scramble and create their own way and come up with childcare and figure out what they're going to do with their life, because maybe they worked as a waitress and now they're making a quarter of the money, or they can't even do the mask or whatever it is. So it's up to our communities to really be that support network, because you have no idea how much people are struggling out there. So I really encourage everyone, and I've been saying this for a year now, to really think about who you can reach out to and what you can do, even just offering a little help with childcare or doing something for these people out there that are on the edge and trying to really figure out their lives. You know, you can be that beacon of light for just about anybody right now. So I hope people can, you know, try that out.
Well, yeah, for sure. Thank you for saying all that too, because that's the stuff I think about all the time, especially when it comes to augmented reality, AI. My son makes me think about all of this stuff too, because I love him and I want him to experience, you know, life. But yeah, unfortunately, though, we're at the end of the broadcast, man. If you want, can you, since you've spent so much time with us tonight, tell everybody how they can find you, or do you have any like events coming up next or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a lot going on, but I just want to wrap it up by saying that, like, anybody out there, you can seriously make a difference in your community by just getting a group of kids together to play tag or flag football or basketball or something. These simple things that you would never think could change the world, they're literally so important now more than ever. So please check me out on Facebook, Matt Landman, and you said earlier, actualactivists.com, but there's so much information there. And then again, SPERO Gear and SPERO Gear on Instagram. And I'm working on a sequel, Frankenskies 2. So check out frankenskies2.com and also frankenskies.com. And I really appreciate you having me on, and I hope that we can do it again sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We definitely will. And you guys, I hope you got inspired by this show, and I hope that everybody that's listening goes out and does something like that. That's a good idea. And we'll be back tomorrow night, too, for Open Lines right here on Lighting the Void. Stay tuned for the Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable. See you guys tomorrow night. Good night. All right. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Matt.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Keep in touch.
I will, definitely.